You know what? I mean, regulation is to lay down the rules of the road, fair rules of the road. A lot of ordinary people in this country have been shafted in these last years. They did not participate in the boom in the economy. I do believe that we are facing a systemic crisis in this country. It is not simply the 70s, Rich. It is something deeper. It is something that forces us to rethink the models, the ideas that we have lived with for decades. The kind of capitalism we have lived with is over. There are different kinds of capitalism in this world. There is a more just capitalism, and we need to rebuild an economy that is built on shared prosperity. That doesn't mean we abolish inequality. That doesn't mean the wealthy don't have a right to their wealth, but it does mean that ordinary people, again, who have been left out of the growth of this country, need to participate in it. And I think shared prosperity is a very important mantra for our times. And to go back to the kind of old of how regulation is going to stifle creativity, deregulation has created a disaster. And in order to avert a deepening crisis, we need to think hard about new models and to support a president who, with the flaws of his plan, has the ambition and yet the audacity to come forward and to be pushed by the conditions of his time beyond the limits of his own politics. My last point would be, citizens need to engage, and that was a message of President Obama's campaign. We need to engage because it is the pressure from outside Washington, which, as someone noted, still is living too much by its old ways, though the K Street corruption was fathered, grandfathered, and pioneered by Tom DeLay and others. But we need to mobilize from outside the Beltway to bring our views to bear and to remember and remind and tell them that there are millions of people in this country who want to find a new path toward a new kind of people's recovery. Thank you.
I would just like to second Katrina's sentiment on the importance of an engaged citizenry. Please don't be engaged the way she wants you to be engaged, but please do be engaged. And you people obviously are, because you've been such a patient and wonderful audience, and thanks so much for having us here tonight.
Two distinguished guests for giving us such enlightenment. They did deliver. They delivered more light than heat, and I appreciate that very much. And as a token of our appreciation, I want to give each of you a Ralph Hauenstein tote bag. As Rich just said, this made it all worthwhile. Now, a book signing follows in the social hall. And before adjourning, I would just like to thank several people and organizations for making this evening possible. You're just like my class. Hold it right there. First of all, I want to acknowledge Ralph Hauenstein in the front row, the founding benefactor. Grand Valley State University President Thomas Haas, thank you. The Gerald R. Ford Foundation, Joe Calvaruzzo, thank you. And always hospitable, the Fountain Street Church, Reverend Frederick Wooden, thank you, sir. And especially thanks to all of you for participating. We are adjourned.